clearly, do you believe there's a connection between vaccines and autism? Do you believe there's a link?
Well, I don't look. Right now, you have some very brilliant people looking at it. I had dinner the other night with the head of Pfizer, the head of Eli Lilly, and RFK, as you know, and Oz. And we had, and other people within the administration that are involved in the medical. And we're looking to find out, you know, if you look at autism.
Yeah, I'm going to stop you right there, Donnie. For those of you who may not have researched into this because you, A, don't have autism, or B, don't have a loved one with autism, or C, just have never been interested enough to look into whether or not vaccines actually cause autism, in 1998, a small study was done that linked autism spectrum disorder and vaccines. That quickly was peer-reviewed, and it was thrown out for being complete bunk, and the person who conducted the study actually lost their license for it. And we have since done multiple studies to see if there is a link between autism spectrum disorder and any vaccines. And they have all been ruled out multiple times. But in an effort to spread misinformation about science and further people's mistrust in science and the scientific process, the right has decided that vaccines equal bad.
So you have gained notoriety for your skepticism about vaccines. And over the summer in an interview, you said, quote, "There's no vaccine that is, safe and effective." Do you still believe that?
I never said that.
So stop me. We have the clip. Please play the clip.
Play the whole clip.
You've talked about that the media slanders you by calling you an anti-vaxxer. And you've said that you're not anti-vaccine, you're pro-safe vaccine. Difficult question. Can you name any vaccines that you think are good?
I think some of the live virus vaccines are probably averting more problems than they're causing. There's no vaccine that is, safe and effective.
So you did say it.
Are there risks associated with taking vaccines? Yes, there are risks associated with anything and everything. But I need you to understand that before we started developing vaccines, over 50% of the population died before the age of 20 because of these diseases that we have developed vaccines for. So you tell me, does polio or the polio vaccine, which one has a higher mortality rate? Because I'm willing to bet it's polio. If you're looking for a perfect vaccine that causes zero complications on any single human being and has a 100% perfect, no mortality, no side effect rate, you're not going to get it. But it is leagues better than where we were before we had any vaccines. Should we focus on always making medicine and vaccines better, safer, less mortality rates, less side effects? Yes, and guess what? That's what we do. When we first developed vaccines versus now, we have far less mortality rates due to vaccines. We're already trying to make them better. We're constantly in the process of making them better. But if you don't want to take a vaccine until it's perfect and there is no risk whatsoever, you know what? Go ahead and contract measles. Go ahead and contract polio. That's your freedom, I guess.
The federal government should never be able to mandate the fact that you have to get a shot and have some sort of man-made bioweapon injected into your body when you would like to trust your own immune system to fight back against it, which is much more powerful.
Are you anti-vax or vaccine hesitant?
Before we had vaccines, people died in droves because of illnesses that we created vaccines for. If Marjorie Taylor Greene went back to the 1800s and told them about modern technology and vaccines, and then proceeded to tell some pioneer woman that she didn't take the vaccine because her own immune system was stronger than that, that pioneer woman would strangle her to death with her bare hands. You have the ability to prevent yourself, the people you love, and strangers, which I don't know how to explain this to you, but you should care about other people, from getting these fatal illnesses, and you just don't do it? And you also can't tell me that Marjorie Taylor Greene isn't vaccinated. She grew up in the 70s, the 80s? It was mandated for her to go to school to have vaccines. That woman is preaching that other people should not get vaccinated while she herself is safe because she is vaccinated.
I'm not vaccinated. I'm not vaccinated, and I'm not getting the vaccine because I'm an American. I can choose what I want to do with my body. I have the freedom to decide if I want to get a vaccine or not get a vaccine, and I don't care who tells me to get one. I will not get one unless I choose that I want to.
What it means to be an American is that if I choose, I can get myself and others sick with a deadly virus. But you, as a woman, cannot choose what you do with your own body. When it comes to abortion, I'm pro-life. That's not covered in the American freedoms. Only getting people sick, that's the freedom that we have. Girl, the hypocrisy could not be louder. You have the same people claiming freedom, and that's why they won't wear a mask in public. But the same freedom people don't believe in freedom when it comes to literally whether or not you get access to reproductive health care.
Thanks, President Trump. What about the polio vaccine?
Well, I'm a big believer in it, and I think everything should be looked at, but I'm a big believer in the polio vaccine, the Salk vaccine.
Do you think schools should mandate vaccines? Do you think schools should mandate vaccines?
I don't like mandates. I'm not a big mandate person. So, I was against mandates. Mostly Democrat governors did the mandates, and they did a very poor thing. It was, in retrospect, they made a big mistake having to do with the education of children. They lost like a year, 2 years of their lives. The mandate was a bad thing. I was against the mandate.
So is that something you'd want to...
The less children in schools that are vaccinated, the less effective the vaccine is. That's how herd immunity works. But we're so busy trying to fearmonger about problems that aren't real to distract you from the problems that are real, that it is causing major issues for people who are immunocompromised, people who are elderly. Children are more susceptible to getting these illnesses and having worse effects from them. People who are autistic, so you're being blamed for getting a vaccine when vaccines do not cause autism. I mean, we have Marjorie Taylor Greene comparing letting people know if you're vaccinated or not, because that affects their own personal well-being, to having to wear a star in Nazi Germany. Vaccines, like any other medication, have risk factors, but it is a lot riskier to contract the disease than it is to get the vaccine. I promise you that. Don't let them distract you from the culture war with this bullcrap. Don't fall for it. They are still the elite. They are still the reason you can't afford groceries. That is what you need to focus on, not vaccines causing autism. There are plenty of studies debunking that. Focus on the culture war, because that's what's real.